you know, as they say in the Marvel movies, with great power comes great responsibility. The living building is an incredibly important response to the challenges posed by the built environment. In the next few decades, over 50% of the world's population is going to live in cities, and in order for us to have a sustainable environment, we need to have infrastructure that uses less resources and contributes a positive effect to the environment. The living building is designed to help meet those challenges. We have a large amount of effect on the natural environment, and so because of that, we are bound by our own sense of responsibility to do that in the least destructive way possible.
We're at Proctor Creek. It's part of a larger watershed along with Georgia Tech.
So you saw I did it, right?
So all the buildings that we build on campus, most of the city of Atlanta, is actually draining into this watershed. And so Proctor Creek is an example of how our built environment is affected both on the physical, so the terrestrial side of things when we actually build those things, and the water flow, so the aquatic side of things. So we're now looking at the aquatic impacts of what it's like to build in Atlanta.
Fish. I love it. Like ever since I was a kid, I love coming out to like creeks and trying to find stuff. So this is like going back to childhood for me, and it also feels really good to just kind of give back to the community and use what I've learned in school to like help people out here.
What we want the students to be able to do is to document the diversity of organisms that are in the area around the living building, and then be able to come back once that building is constructed and see how it has caused the surrounding life to flourish.
I'm gonna go back a little bit.
You might be wondering, why would you go look at this creek far away from campus if the living building is being built on campus? And one of the great things is that the living building actually has an equity pedal. And so a part of that equity pedal is to think about how the ecosystem writ large, so the people and the way that they interact, as well as how the environment interacts with one another, those are all part of the building process. And so when the living building is being built, they're thinking very purposefully about the way the water table has changed and the organisms that are living there, the biodiversity on that site. So our students have gone out before the building, and they're going to go out during and after to measure what the biodiversity is in that space. But once the building is built, it will impact biodiversity in other places, and we'll be able to capture that with what they're doing.
One of the biggest things I took away from this class is that we have a responsibility towards the ecosystem. I think we kind of tend to think, oh, the earth is the domain of humans. We can kind of just do whatever we want to it, but if we treat it that way, then everything's really going to crash, and that's really the end of it, and we're going to crash as a result.
Oh, got a bag. There's like a dead fish right here.
As a university, one of our roles is to think outside the box, right? To think about where we want to be in 20 years, to not be bound the way that things are. And I'm particularly proud of Georgia Tech in acting as a laboratory for the living building and for supporting the educational activities that allow students to learn about what's going on and to be better citizens and stewards of the planet going forward.